So, guys, amongst the ongoing wave of changes in Canadian immigration, and most of them have been a major cause of concern for a lot of people around the globe, Canada did roll out a pleasant news very recently. And this pleasant news is for people who are inside Canada and facing expiring work permits in the short coming time. Well, these people could have applied for PNPs and are actually not able to extend their work permit because PNPs are taking a lot of time. So, today's news is all about this temporary foreign policy or temporary public policy that has been announced for foreign workers inside Canada. If you are interested in Canadian immigration, then this particular news is going to be very important for you. Please be sure to watch the video till the end. So, guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice here in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to speak with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of moving to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So, guys, we are discussing the latest news with regards to people inside Canada who have applied for PNPs. And because PNPs processing now are taking a very, very long time, these people could be facing a potentially expiring work permit. Now, let me give you a background. Very recently, there were protests in Manitoba, followed by protests in Ontario as well, stage protests in Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Atlantic Immigration Program, everywhere. In fact, throughout Canada, a wave of international students, temporary residents, postgraduate work permit holders were protesting because of this one single reason, which was that their work permits were expiring. Now, people who have been inside Canada, spent all the money and everything, were almost close to applying for PNP or had applied for their PNPs, but their work permits were expiring. Now, because both of these are separately, distantly connected programs, while their applications were under process for PNPs, they could not extend their work permit. So eventually they had to go back home. And then later, when their PNPs would get approved, they would get to come back. Now, these were issues where businesses would lose temporary residents or actually employees, important employees, and the employees could lose employment. And you know how the work scenarios are, right? Like that, there's a dearth of jobs. It's not easy to go back to the to the same job. Not exactly easy to find a new job. And these people who have already spent so many years in Canada would eventually be uprooted, going back to their home country, coming back, setting everything again. It was a lot. It was a hard fought tussle for everybody, right? Now, these people had one simple request, that our PNP applications are already under processing. Why don't you just give us an extension of our work permit? So the Canadian government or the immigration authorities have listened. So as of 11th August 2024, the Canadian immigration minister had actually signed this. So let me bring this up on the screen first. So this is a temporary public policy that is facilitating work permits for prospective provincial nominee program candidates. Okay, so this is the important part. Now, what they're saying is that if a person has three basic requirements. Now, first, I will tell you the basic requirements so that you don't get confused. Three basic requirements the person should have. One, the person should be having a support letter from the province. Now, the province would first have to sign this agreement with the federal government, where they would say that, okay, they would be issuing support letters. Um, when a person could potentially have either an expression of interest file or the person's PNP file is in further stages of processing. In either of these situations, the PNP or the province would issue the support letter to a particular applicant. Second, the same applicant has a job offer from the employer as well. So the employer goes to the job application, the job offer portal, and gets a number and gives that job offer to the applicant. So the second requirement is the job offer or the supported job offer. Third, the person is eligible in terms of having the work permit situation. So either has a work permit that is expiring between May 7th and December 31st, or expired after May 7th. So these scenarios I will just explain. So if the applicant is meeting these three requirements: work permit, job offer, and support letter from PNP, the person will be issued an open work permit. And the policy that I'm about to show is actually an operational manual types that is directing the officer to issue this work permit. Now, what happened was, following this policy, um, previously May 7th, that's when Manitoba signed up this or requested this special consideration from the federal government. Following that suit, Alberta very recently released their support letter indications following this policy. And the very next day, the federal government in fact made this open. But if you look at that, this policy was signed on, let me show you. Yeah, you see, 11th of August. But this policy only came on the website on 27th of August. So there was a delay of almost 16 days when this policy was made public. Now, very important, let's look at the conditions and the eligibility requirements of this policy. First, the person should hold a valid work permit. Okay. Second, the person is applying for a new work permit, obviously, which you will apply. The person held a valid work permit. That's a second situation, but let's just look at the first one only. Has a support letter, okay, issued by a PNP, and also outlining, screen this letter, and also has a letter of employment from the foreign national's current employer. So, letter of employment, support letter, and meets the work permit requirements. This is the first category of requirements. Then you see there is an or, so this means a second condition. The foreign national has a work permit that has expired after May 7th. Okay. So, and again, the same requirement: support letter and job offer letter, right? Employment offer letter. Third, the employer was authorized to work as of May 7th. That means implied situation, or had applied for a restoration as well. And their work permit extension application remains pending or was approved, or that means it's still under implied status. Again, the same thing: has a support letter from PNP and a letter of employment. So please note that this letter of employment, there are still more requirements going around. We will get into more details. I am hoping that this is a part of that job offer that has to be issued from the A number. I will still double check into this, but yes, mostly this is the job offer or the letter of employment from the foreign national's current employer. Then a couple of other explanations which you can follow through. Effective date of the expiration of this particular policy um, is, this policy was signed on 26th of June. That's around, when Manitoba, so the previous policy was the one that they had deployed. This particular policy on 11th August is replacing the 26th June policy. Okay, so minor changes here and there. And the most important part is that this public policy will expire on December 31st, 2024. Okay. So, guys, we have received a lot of requests around explaining this policy. This is sort of good only, I would say, because this is reinforcing to people who are inside Canada and who have their, PNP applications under process, but have to, unfortunately leave Canada because of their work permits were expiring. A lot of protests were staged in, almost all the provinces. The Canadian government did face a lot of heat on a global level, and hence we are seeing the changes. And this is only positive because a lot of these people deserve permanent residence, and this is a positively reinforcing news. Well, guys, I hope the news today was helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do consider subscribing. If you like the video, hit the like button and also do share it with your friends. If you have anything to discuss with me, please feel free to schedule an appointment, and I would be more than happy to discuss your case and guide you going further. I hope the news was helpful, and I really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.